Welcome to another edition of Future Ambassador. My name is Ode is your regular anchor for this program, Future Ambassador. This program will be coming to your view every Tuesday on this station from 7:30 p.m. Now, this program has two interesting segments. The first segment is the campus gist, where you bring the stories from each campuses. The second segment is the talk sections, where we discuss issues that matter in our society. We don't just talk, we think, and we inspire the young ones. Now we are going on a short musical break. When we are back, we dive into the first segment of the program. Remember, building today, shaping tomorrow.
Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tunes. Is it too much? It's not too much. I wanna be a forest if wishes were horses. Is it too much? It's not too much. If I want money, I do what I got to say. If I want money, I'ma buy my shoulder, I'ma buy my foya, I'ma buy me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back from the short musical break. If you are just joining, this is Future Ambassador live from the studio of Nta Ijebu Ode. Now let us dive into the first segment of the program, which is the campus gist, when I'll be introducing my fellow colleague in person of Oluwa Fumibi.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Campus Gist, right here on your favorite program, the Future Ambassadors. We've got a lot to unpack today, so sit back, stay tuned, and let's get into this campus vibe. Tasfwed takes Yoruba Cultural Heritage Global. We begin today's campus gist with a story that shows that Nigerian culture can travel far beyond our shores. Traditionally Federal University of Education, Tasfwed, is strengthening its international presence through a proposed collaboration with Brazilian scholars on cultural heritage research, academic exchange, and sustainable development. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Samuel Oladipo, says internationalization and global visibility remain key priorities of his administration. As part of the initiative, a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) has been signed involving Tasfwed, the University of Salvador in Brazil, and Osun University. The proposed research will examine heritage sites such as the Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove and Bilikisu Sungbo's Shrine at Okeeri in Ogun State, alongside heritage locations in Salvador, Brazil. According to Brazilian scholar Professor Bruno Andrade, the project will explore the cultural connections between Africa and Brazil, particularly the influence of Yoruba culture in Salvador. The research will also touch on climate change, digital technology, heritage preservation, field research, and community participation. And here is the exciting part. The initiative could eventually contribute to efforts towards securing UNESCO World Heritage recognition for the Nigeria heritage sites, with opportunities for students and staff exchanges, research visits, and knowledge sharing. This could be a major step in putting Tasfwed on the global academic map. From Ogun State to Brazil, Yoruba heritage is crossing borders. And speaking of institutions putting their students on the map, let's move from cultural heritage to innovation and entrepreneurship. FUTB enactors Team reaches national semi-final. Students of the Federal University of Technology, Babura, FUTB, has given their institution another reason to celebrate. The FETB Enactors team has emerged as a semi-finalist at the Enactors Nigeria National Competition 2026. The achievements highlight the students' creativity, teamwork, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit as they work on solutions to real-world problems. And this is a perfect reminder that university education is not just about lectures, assignments, and examinations. For a young and growing institution like FUTB, reaching the national semi-final is certainly a remarkable achievement. A big congratulations to the entire FUTB Enactors team. OU reschedules 2026 post-UTME screening. If Olabisi Onabanjo University OU is on your list of preferred institutions, this information is for you. The university has rescheduled its 2026 post-UTME screening exercise. The screening is now scheduled to hold from September 1st to September 4th, 2026. So, prospective students should update their calendars, prepare their necessary documents, and continue to monitor the university's official channels for further information. Remember, preparation is key. Future OU students, September is your month. And for admission matters, let's move into the area of student leadership, where there has been a major development at ATBU. ATBU SUG president resigns. There is a leadership shake-up at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, ATBU, Bauchi. The president of the Students' Union Government, Comrade Sharif Abdul Malik Toro, has formally resigned from office. In his resignation letter, Toro cited present family circumstances and personal responsibilities that require his immediate attention and presence. He explained that the decision followed considerable reflection and consultation with his family. He also stated that the SUG deserves a president who can give full attention and commitment to the responsibilities of the office. Toro expressed appreciation to the students, university management, the Dean of Students Affairs, SUG members, the Students' Representative Assembly, and all the stakeholders for their support during his tenure. He also called for the appropriate constitutional and institutional procedures to begin for a smooth transition. And now, the big question on the ATBU campus is, who takes over the SUG leadership and what will the next chapter look like? Our final story takes us to Abia State University, ABSU. University management has suspended Professor Nnamdi Nwaize, a lecturer in the Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Management Science, with immediate effect. The development followed comments attributed to the lecturer on his Facebook page concerning the salaries of some professors at the institution. The suspension has attracted attention within the university community and has once again brought discussions about institutional regulations, official procedures, and responsible communication in academic environments for the forefront. For now, the situation remains one to watch as further developments emerge. And that's a wrap on today's edition of Campus Gist. And one thing is clear: campus life is much more than lectures and examinations. It's about innovations, leadership, research, opportunities, achievements, challenges, and of course, the gist. I'm your host, Fumibi, and this is Campus Gist. Your campus, your stories, your vibes. Thank you.
Billionaire.
Now I want you to tell me, what are you going to do with it?
I wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini, the Bonito Sicily. Yeah.
Welcome back to the show Music Complete. We are this journey is switch ambassador life from the school of Nta Ijebu Ode. My name is Nta Israel. Now we dive into the second segment of the program when we discuss issues that matter in our society. In today's rapping world, having a certificate is no longer enough. Employers, entrepreneurs, and industry are looking for people who can solve problems, think creative, and apply practical skills from technology and digital innovation to vocational trades and skills are becoming one of the greatest assets that you can have. Now, this is a question we need to ask ourselves. Did I have the quality enough, or I am certified enough to work with airlines, to work with people who are demanding for the solution? Now, let's dive into today's topic, which is the power of skills and in a competitive world. Now, we are going to check what really matters. Why is this skills work or skills acquisitions is important for us to learn or for us to have? Because people they are demanding for our value. Joining me in studio, I have a person of good personality, a great person who has once HR officers in one company and a teachers who has teach many thousands of students. Sir, can you introduce yourself to the viewers at home?
All right. My name is Adetimehin Samson.
Thank you so much, sir. So before we discuss the importance of skills, it is important to understand what skills education actually means. So to begin, when we talk about skills education, what exactly does it mean? And how do you describe a true skill person?
Thank you. The simplest way I can describe skill education is an organized training or an organized, we can call it organized training that is given to someone out of the four wall of the classroom. It is an organized one.
Okay, the workplace is changing and employers are increasing interested in competence, productive, and what an individual can actually contribute to an organization. We are seeing more employers paying attention to what people can actually do rather than just these certificates they hold. So what is happening and what does it tell us about the future of tomorrow or education?
Yeah, what that actually means is that nobody wants to employ someone for going to school. Nobody wants to employ you because you are a graduate. All right. People want to employ you because of what you can do for them, how you can help them address some of the challenges they have in their organization, either the government or the private sector. So people don't just want to employ you for employing sake. They are employing you to solve problems for them. So that's the reason.
So for young people who are trying to figure out their path, how can they discover the skills that match their passion, talent, and long-term career goals?
Yeah, for people as a child, while we're growing, they will always ask you, what do you want to become? Some people say, I want to become an accountant. What do you want to become? Some people say, I want to. Most of these things, people just say them actually, not really knowing their area of interest. But when we talk about how you can discover the right skill you should acquire, which will help you career-wise, sometimes, just as I said, it's it has to be something you look inward and see if you love that. All right, you may enroll for a skill like you want to learn UI UX, you want to learn how to code, you want to learn graphic design, you want to learn barbing, you want to learn for organizer. You may enroll for a skill training, and by the way, you realize that You have been there, you don't really love it, you're just struggling with it, you are not getting it. You may be struggling with one thing, and if you struggle with that, it's not a must. You have to continue in that thing forever, since you don't love it. It's not about making money, but about what you find joy in doing. So if you enroll in a skill and you realize that you don't just like it, you just hate everything about it, then you have no choice. It's not that they tie you to that place. You can leave that place and opt in for another skill, but it's not something quick, because if you don't know something, you want to acquire the skill, it's going to be difficult. That's normal, and it takes time for you to be able to flow. But if at the end of it, or you still realize that you don't like it, you take up other skills, and it's not a must you take up one skill. You can even take up 10 skills, no big deal there. All right. After you finish with one, you can go for another, and so on and so forth, as long as you love it and you think it will help you. Some people engage in marketing skill.
Okay,
Um,
sir. In your words, sir, you said someone can learn 10 things, sir. So, are you telling us that, I quote says that jack of all this, all trades, master of none. So, what can you say to that, sir?
Yes, by jack of all trades, when I said you can learn 10 of skill, what I mean is that just like somebody who went to the university to study media, at the end of the whole show, when he graduated, he realized that he is not really interested. In fact, even from the university, towards the time he's graduating, he realized that I think I don't love this. All right, you still have room to go back
Okay,
and
sir. Thank you
study
so much.
another course.
So, with artificial intelligence and automation changing the way we work, what skills do you believe will remain valuable and in demand over next 10 years?
All right, so many skills will remain valuable for the next, in fact, generations. And one of them is nursing skill. All right. Nursing skill will forever remain valuable no matter the emergence of AI. But when we talk about even doctor will not remain valuable forever, because with the help of AI, if you are having a headache, all right, and you go meet AI, there are some AI levels that it's going to ask you, what do you take? It's going to ask you of your health history. And when you tell it your present state, it's going to look at everything and it's going to postulate a medication for you, which a nurse can help you administer. So with that, you are cutting off doctors, except for those who are specialists in the area of operation and all of these.
So,
Those,
apart from these nursing, because people there at home and
and
say
also
that
when we talk about plumbing, AI will not replace plumbing, no matter how it goes. Even when they bring sophisticated system, a plumber will still have to be the one to maintain the system. All right, whenever there are issues. All right. So also we have, if I'm looking at barbing, I was looking at if AI can replace barbing, but I realized that it's very dangerous, and not everybody would like to put their head into one thing that will just naturally help them cut their hair. What if the thing break your head in the process? All right. So all this, um, well, if we can now have self-driving vehicles, if we can now have self-driving vehicles that move you from your house to anywhere you want to go without a driver, I think AI is advancing seriously, but there are still some jobs, just as I've said initially, that will be very difficult.
okay, let's check this aspect, sir. Now, this is the question: developing employable skills in a shared responsibility. What role should parents, schools, and government play in preparing young people for the future?
All right, thank you. If we look at the curriculum of education, the national curriculum of education, you realize that's 2009 downward, and I think to 13 as well. I have no clear idea of what it is presently. You realize that there is a big provision, I think even to recent, there is a big provision for development, in fact, complete development of children even till they graduate from the university. It has made big provision to cater for their growth. And that is why over the years we have first term break, we have second term break, we have third term break. Even in the universities, we still have breaks as well. In fact, right now in the federal university, I think they are trying to make it uniform now that whenever this school is going for break, the other school is going for break. So everybody are going for break compared to before when everybody just go their way. So the government has played some role by trying to organize the national policy of education properly, creating time. I'm trying to tell you the role of the government, which the government has made in the area of the policy of education by organizing breaks and everything. Right, even right now in the school, they are now introducing a lot of skill development, even in the school. All right. But now, when we talk about the role parents should play, if we look at the period of break, even from primary school, we have long break and all of that. Uh, they are organized in a way for children to grow properly, even from the primary section to the university. Now, the term break, the third term break is usually a very long one, right? This period can be used, all right, to travel. They can use it to travel. They can use it to acquire skill. All right. They can use it to go and work in a restaurant. If they work in a restaurant, they are going to be seeing a lot of things. They are going to be gathering skill, knowledge that is going to be relevant for them, even tomorrow when they are through with the formal education. They can go to a patent medicine store, all right, to work with them there. All right. They can come to media houses to offer support services. All right. In that process, they are going to be gathering a lot of knowledge. All right. They can go and work with those who are doing carpentry services. They are going to be acquiring a lot of knowledge in those process. They can go, and it's not a must they go to the salon. There are a lot of places. They should go to a place whereby they can learn how to become useful. All right. They should go to a place where they can learn something they can do
So I
that
guess
is
what you're trying to
relevant.
tell the parent that in the aspect of this all of this, they should find things that
Yeah,
the parents
that
should
is
do.
for parents.
And for the
Then
schools,
for the school, what I have to tell the school is that if you look at all over the country right now, there is this problem of holiday lesson that has ravaged the whole system. And I think maybe the government can come in there as well, maybe to ban it. Because if the children have been in school for almost 9 months, or 10 months or so, and the few period they have for break, the long vacation, the school is still calling them back. We have some children who are in Ijebu who have never left their village before. Why? Because they were born there, and when it is time for break, they will still organize lesson. And all of this is not even giving them opportunity to travel, to see the world, to see what is going on. It doesn't give them opportunity to be in other place other than the school.
all right. What word of encouragement or advice would you like to leave the young men and women watching us today?
Yeah, the advice I'm going to give you is that look, for you to survive in this contemporary world, especially in this Nigeria, uh, you need to have a skill, and there is no time that is late, right? We have seen people who, after their NYSC, they have to go back to go and acquire skill. All right. We have seen people who, after they've worked and realized that the work is taking them nowhere, some of them, they have to. We have seen people who are working and at the same time still acquiring skill. All right. So, what I'm saying in essence is for young people and adults who are outside there, skill acquisition is a life survivor mechanism here in this country today. All right. If you want to survive, if you want to live your life, if you want to be happy, all right, you don't just depend on a white collar job, or you don't just put all your life on on salary. You have to acquire a skill that will help you to be valuable and that will help you to at least build some form of income aside from the basic thing you are doing. So I want to advise every one of you, please take up a skill that is relevant and a skill that probably will support whatsoever you are doing and will help you to be able to cope with the present economy.
Thank you so much, sir. To my viewers at home, these are the lessons I derived from this conversation, which is the power of skills and in a competitive world. Number one, passion. Passion. When you want to learn your practical skills, skills acquisitions, it's your passion, your interest, your ability of what you can do. Not just that because some people are making money in some things, and to parents as well, we urge you in holiday seasons, try and put your child, your children, into one skills or other. And to the schools, we hold you as well. Try and put, vocational studies, vocational trades, entrepreneurs, for children, for students to learn as well. For government, we need equipment, we need funds, we need grants, we need NGOs that can raise youth, young people for practical skills. So to my viewers at home, this is the end of the conversation. My wonderful Mr. Atiblein, thank you so much for coming. And can you just say goodbye to my viewers at home?
All right, goodbye. Thank you.
So to my viewers at home, thank you for watching us. My name is Ode Nifolua, building today, shaping tomorrow.
Sandali